Another week, another Scotty Scheffler dub. What's new? Well, I'll tell you this much. You've come to the right place. I see all the OGs in the chat. On your way in, hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber to Driving the Line, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Also, share the show. We call this hashtag DTL Golf. I've got the best minds in the business. Now, Steve Scott, not in a place where he could be on the show today, but he's a grinder. He's a huge part of what we do. He is in the chat. Any questions for Steve Scott? Put him in the chat. He will answer them for you in real time. With that being said, let's bring in my other stars of the show. First and foremost, he's a world long drive champion, and he's everywhere these days. Fast Eddie Fernandes. Good afternoon, sir.
What's up, Coach? Good to be here. See you. And Mr. Damron, really quick, though, I was in Dallas and watched RD play okay after not playing that well. So I want to give a little shout out to RD. I followed him for about 6 holes the other day. So it's fun.
You just completely took my intro away from
my
me.
bad.
There.
Well, you know what? We're off the cuff. So, but okay, let me start that again. Great to be here.
I'll take those compliments again.
And we got to
stroke him a little bit.
This man last week, PGA Tour champions, teeing it up, playing good golf. No, playing above average golf. RD, how did you feel last weekend, sir?
Not too bad. Started a little shaky, but the game actually felt good. Rust was all over me. I mean, it was just awful. It's coming off of me in buckets. I didn't really know how far the clubs were going. I didn't. My lag putting was comically bad, but I did a lot of good stuff. A lot of fairways, a lot of greens. Had fun. You know what else? What else do you want? I didn't go in with any expectations, so how could I leave disappointed? Yep.
Now, Eddie, you were there. You went out to the event and walked with him for 6 holes?
Yeah, so I was out there for a long drive event. I went out there, practice with some friends, and then I was out there at the same time. So I said, "Hey, RD, I'm going to come out for a little bit." So he almost hooped one on, what was that, on 5, Robert? That first round? I mean,
yeah, 5. Oh yeah.
Over the edge. Hey, what'd you hit in there?
7 iron.
7 iron. So
it was going in.
2.5, 3 feet. Literally went over the edge of the hole. It was an awesome shot. So he hit some good shots. So it was cool.
So here's the big question, RD. Did you have to get him a ticket?
Yeah, but he could have found another way to do it. I just did it as a favor. He could have found his own way out.
You saved those $22. You did. You're a solid guy. There you go. All right. Well, gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about this week. It's the only team event on the PGA Tour. But before we get to that, gentlemen, you knew who wasn't rusty? Do you know who never has rust oozing out of his pores? Scotty Scheffler. And it doesn't matter the week, the event, where it's at. This man brings his A game every single stop. He gets it done again. Signature event. And RD, let me start with you. $16 million in the last 44 days. His caddy has made over $1.6 million, which is a lot more than most players have made. And the way that Scheffler did it is absolutely spectacular. Your thoughts on Scheffler now with a bullet, the number 1 player in the world? Your take.
You know, when he became number 1 in the world a couple years ago, it happened kind of quick, and I questioned it. Boy, I don't question it anymore. He's so far and away the best player in the world. It's not even close. I'll tell you how good he is, Coach. I think that the Grand Slam for the season is in play this year. I'd never say that since Tiger Woods was playing anyway, but it is absolutely a possibility. He's got 1 out of 4. He's got the Masters in his back pocket. And you know what's amazing? Now, he putts better than the club champ at your golf course. He putts better than you 5 handicappers who thinks, oh, I can make everything. He's putting terrible. But he's doing it without a putter. Honestly, if you compare him to the other best putters, he's so much far and away the best player without having a putter that's saving him left and right. And it's a testament to how great he's hitting it, man. And it is so fun to watch and a good guy to boot.
I want to put a pin in that Grand Slam just for a second because I've got a number that's going to shock you in a second. But I want to come to Fast Eddie first because to RD's point, it seems like if you said who makes more, who holds out more, chips by Scheffler or 30-footers by a normal player, it's going to be Scotty Scheffler. The man chips in, it seems like, multiple times every single tournament. What impresses you most about how Scheffler is getting it done these days?
All right, so here's the deal. He is you guys know I'm friends with Teddy Scott. I'm going to actually hit him up for a loan here because probably $2 million this year. Just kidding. But since 2023, since the 2023 players, 19 top fives, 6 wins, only finished out of the top 10 4 times, and 2 of those were 11th and 17th. Highest finish was 31st at the St. Jude. Strokes gained total 3.45, which is 1.02 strokes gained better than Schauffele, who is number 2. And this stat blew me away, right? Scotty is leading number 2 in the world rankings, Rory McIlroy, by a stupid 7.65 points, which is larger than Rory's lead over number 788, Tiger Woods, 7.24. That is just mind-blowing. And he's doing it. He's doing it with everything. And like Robert said, the Grand Slam, I'll tell you what, we haven't talked about this since Tiger. And I think it's in play.
I don't know what's more incredible, the thought that he might win the Grand Slam, or the fact that you can give your take with balloons that are floating all over your head. I
thought you guys were doing that. I have no idea where that's coming from. Seriously, I'm
not doing. RD, are you doing that?
No, I thought it just followed him around. I see him in person, and he's got balloons flying, like doves flying out behind him.
Oh my God. Honestly, so funny. The first time was hilarious, and you just kept going. The second time, I just lost it.
I thought maybe somebody in the chat was giving me balloons for giving me props for looking all this stuff up.
It was a lot of good information. And whenever you can tag Tiger into any conversation, it's really, really good. I saw something on social media today that if he was number 1, it'd be 2035 before you'd have enough weeks to match Tiger Woods. We're in 2024.
Right.
That is bananas. But on our daily show, 10 a.m. every day, I encourage all of you to tune in. We have a numbers guy, Rafael Esparza. He's amazing. He sets lines and numbers for multiple sports books in Las Vegas. We're dialed in here at DTL. He is setting the number, RD, for the odds of Scheffler to win the Grand Slam. I'm going to give each of you a guess on what do you think the odds are going to be for Scotty to win the Grand Slam.
Realistically, I mean, it's never happened. Tiger won 4 in a row, and he's the best of all time, most likely. Nicklaus didn't do it in the same calendar year. So in a realistic world, and this is so complimentary, 30-1.
Eddie?
It's got to be higher. Like Robert said, it's never been done in the same calendar year. I would have to say, I mean, I know it's probably going to be 30-1, 25 to 35-1, but I would say 80-1. I would say plus 8,000. That's what I would guess it should be.
All right. It should be 60 to 80-1, realistically, since it's never happened. Yeah, Tiger did it. It started with the U.S. Open and then ended with the Masters. You watched the morning show, didn't you, RD? You did not. No. It is exactly 30-1.
No kidding?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Congratulations.
I didn't know I was that good.
Yeah. None of us did. But that also shows you the confidence, because what have we seen, guys, the last 2 weeks? Plus 450, plus 400. We tease Eddie all the time here on the show. Can't play that, can't play it. Now we're the idiots. We're the idiots because he keeps cashing week after week. 4 out of 5. He's locked up the player of the year.
Yeah.
Let me come to you, RD. When you see what he's doing, and I see so many people, it takes me back to Tiger 2000. What is making him so great, and do you think he can get better?
He could get better, for sure, with the putter. There's no doubt about it. Tiger had just this steely determination and self-belief, and I always wondered to myself, what would it be like to stand over a golf ball and in a golf tournament at the most important time and not believe, not think, but know for sure as the sun's going to come up tomorrow that you're the best player of all time? Do you not think you could draw some kind of confidence from that? It's unbelievable. And Scheffler doesn't have that. He's not the best player of all time. He's playing great, but I think, and I don't want to preach. And if you don't believe, it could be a placebo effect. But honestly, like you look at Langer on the Champions Tour, faith goes a long way because his faith is so strong. he can kind of forget everything else and say, it's not even in my hands. And it helps his golf game mentally so much, I think, that when he goes out there and just says, what do I have to worry about? So what? And everyone else or most other players are grinding their butt off. And he's just like, it's all right. It's not even in my hands.
I think it is two things. The faith, he talks about his faith so much and he always says, golf is what I do. It's not who I am.
Right.
And he believes in that. So when he goes out there, I don't think he gets nervous. I think he got nervous at the Masters 2 years ago when he admitted to it. But now I just think, hey, listen, I'm super, super rich. And Eddie, he's also a player that understands how good he is amongst his peers. And as you know, as a competitive golfer, how much does that help your confidence when you get to a point that you realize, not only do I belong out here, I'm the absolute very best.
Yeah, it's something that goes a long way, really. It's when you know when you're at your best, nobody can touch you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool feeling. It's the thing about Scotty is knowing Teddy and just talking to Teddy about Scotty. He, even though Scotty is very kind of even keel on the golf course, and he, it kind of looks like he's just cruising along. He wants to rub your face in the ground, and he wants to kick your ass like there's no tomorrow. And he said, and even Teddy said, when we're paddleball, they have a paddleball thing going, or pickleball. So he said he's gotten so good over the last couple of years, year and a half, maybe. He goes, he's that good. He's like that competitive. Like he just wants to absolutely crush you. So don't think that he doesn't have that mentality like Tiger had, or Tiger has, or had when he was obviously playing great, because he does. He just shows it in a different way. Tiger was more, just dynamic and emotional. And Scotty's more like, I'm just going to kill you nicely. So, but that's kind of amazing.
It's honestly the same thing that Fast Eddie has in his, the more senior division of the long drive competition, or what Kyle Berkshire has when he shows up. If I just do my job, I cannot lose. So it's on me. It's on me. No one's as good as me. So all I have to do is my job. But that in itself comes with its own pressures.
No doubt, because you're kind of competing against yourself. Three videos I found in the last 24 hours, because I do a lot of deep dives late at night. I'll get in my phone. I don't know if you guys seen the video with Tony Romo. Where he was at an event, and he said he's played over 500 rounds with Scotty. And it's famous to see how much money he's lost to Scott. What'd you say?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear what you
saw
said.
that. I think it was a little exaggeration.
Oh, but the answer I don't think was. He said he's never seen him shoot over 70. He said even if he's plus 6, he figures out a way to get back. He said it's the craziest thing that this guy is so dialed in. Number 2, he was asked by a reporter after he won at the RBC, does it ever get boring? And clearly it was a reporter that doesn't play golf, because I'm clearly the worst by far of the three of us. And he said, when you hit that great golf shot and you feel that, it's an addictive feeling and you want it over and over and over again. In the same answer, he said, I love playing at home, gambling at home, beating the guys at home, to your point, Eddie. And then I saw another video that the headline said, greatness in any form. I love it. And it was the video of him with some guy, and he said, can you predict the distances your clubs go?
Yeah. Did
you see that video? And he had every club to within a yard, most of them perfect. He would say 168 for his 8-iron. 168. He did it with the driver and 3-wood too. That's how dialed in he is. I just can't believe it. I cannot believe how good he has become. Yes, Jared, Romo's legit. Eddie, go.
Yeah, so I was talking to Teddy about this, and he said Randy Smith, his coach, they have a TrackMan thing, and they have little competition. So Randy will throw out a number, 182, and Scotty's got to be within two yards on each side of it. And he said Randy loses his butt to Scotty every time they play it. Like, he's just so dialed in. It could be 122, 207, 185. So it's amazing how good he is as a ball striker. I mean, that's outrageous,
Outrageous.
So, when you're losing money to your coach, when you got to be 2 yards on each side, that's 6 feet, give or take. So it's really impressive. And it's not a shock that he's playing as well as he is. Just, it's amazing. It's fun.
I just wonder, and you guys know, as you guys gamble on the golf course, we all do. there's nothing worse, regardless of amount, at going into your wallet and having to pull it out when you're sitting there having a beer after you're done and paying it to the rest of the table. RD, you're a legend with that.
Oh, that's why I don't want any of this crap with Venmo or Zelle. Like, if you lose, I want you to peel that money off. It's got to hurt. Zelle doesn't hurt. That's just typing in your phone. I want you to go to your back pocket, get that 100, 200. That's what I want to see. So none of that other garbage.
I kid you not. Everybody watching at home, I will text RD random times. Hey, RD, whatever the topic is. I'll get with you. I'm playing cards with my boys. You won't believe. I mean, it's amazing. Most golfers love to have something on the line at all times. At all times. And I freaking love it. Do you think that now he's made, so much money? Do you think he makes those guys pay him every time when he wins?
Yes.
Oh, you're damn right he does. You're
Absolutely.
damn right he does. All right, Big Cheesy said hitting submit on Venmo hurts pretty bad. It also hurts, Big Cheesy, when you got to go buy a Chiefs jersey and take 3 pictures with it and send it to me, and we post it on social media. Not that ever happened. Oh, it hurts, Big Cheesy. It hurts. Stings. I'll give you a chance to run it back. Don't even worry about it, kid. Don't even worry about it. All right, gentlemen, this is the only tag team event of the world. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I am a former WWE tag team champion of the world. Lost it in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Still hurts to this day. So I understand what it takes to be a part of a championship team. But I ask you, this is golf. It's not wrestling. So RD, why do you think these players enjoy this so much? Because when you look at the list of players, you're like, Rory's playing? Colin Morikawa, he's a Zurich guy. But there's a lot of big-time names that are playing in this event as a team.
We play so many golf tournaments in our career over the lifespan of a professional golfer. And whether it's Stableford, whether it's match play, or whether it's a team competition or what have you, we love to just kind of get out of our element and do it differently, especially if you can do it with a pal, or as several teams are this week, with a brother or family member. I mean, that's unbelievable. So it's just that change of pace because it's so monotonous this week, 72-hole stroke play, 72-hole stroke play, 72-hole stroke play. It never changes. So it's attractive to a lot of people. I mean, you've got the city of New Orleans, which has got great food. Some people love it, some don't. It attracts a lot of people too, as well. I always love going there just because I like the oysters and the Cajun food. So, I think that's it. Just the change of pace makes guys want to show up and do it.
Yeah. Even you grow up as juniors, Fast Eddie, and junior golf, there's a lot of team play. Even now, PGA Junior League, all these things. My son plays Junior League. Why do you think, Eddie, that the players like to come to this event? It's really grown the last several years.
It has. I remember when I was a junior, I made the Connecticut junior team against a team from Essex County, England. And that was really the first team event I'd played in. And it was awesome. They had beat the Connecticut junior team the last 2 years. And then we beat them when I was 16. And then we never had it after that. But it was so much fun. It's almost like you compete against each other as juniors. And then you come together as a team and you're like, it's amazing. But I love the team aspect. I think it's a great bar to see where your game is at with like the guys from Canada I'll be talking about in a little bit, trying to show Mike Weir that, hey, we're a team, we're ready to play. Hopefully, some of these guys can make the President's Cup and prove themselves. But I think it's fantastic brothers, really good friends, guys who've just been friends for a long time. RD, who did you play with at Zurich? Who did you
actually? It wasn't a team event when I.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't when I was done. I keep waiting for the call. Like Russ Cochran's playing this week with Eric Cole. He's older than I am.
You mean Colin Morikawa is ring a ding ding? He's not calling you to be his partner this week? Shocking.
No, I'm telling you, terrible.
Hey, get an exemption so we can play next year. That'd be fun.
Oh my God, I would pay for the whole show to go to that if you guys played in that thing together.
That would be sick.
That'd be awesome. You're caddying if we do that.
That I would do too. I've been working on my caddy game with my son. He plays a few U.S. kids. I get to caddy for him. I'm a great caddy, by the way.
Keep it sharp.
By the way, Steve Scott, he said he got West Nile virus in Winnipeg. Oh. That's what you took away from the story of me being a tag team champion, the Winnipeg, not the fact that I'm a champion?
They do have the mosquitoes like that big in Winnipeg, so I can see where the West Nile virus gets in them.
Now, RD, I don't want to get off track here, but we were there in January. This is how cold it was. I rented a car in Minnesota, drove it over the border. We pull in to check into the hotel. They said, have you turned your car off yet? I said, no. They said, don't. They said, take your key ring off, leave it plugged in, go fill it up with gas, leave it plugged in all night, turned on, locked. I said, why? Because it won't start in the morning if you don't. It was that cold. And then they had plug-ins for most of the cars from Canada that they would plug it in just to warm it up in the morning. That's how cold Winnipeg was. It was crazy.
Thanks.
It was absolutely crazy. All right, we are about to get into our picks for the week. Everybody's talking about the food in Louisiana. It's awesome. This morning, AB said that pimento cheese was the favorite food at the Zurich Classic. He's been benched for the rest of the week. I said, please, just jambalaya. He said, uh-oh. Crawfish. Uh-oh. No AB. He's not coming into our show. He may run the brand. He's not coming into our show. Gentlemen, are we ready to jump in? And this is different handicapping this week. It's not the same. Pick a guy. You got to figure in the alternate shot. You got to figure in the two-man scramble, all of that. So, RD, our first category is always first-round leaders. And it's interesting that as I look at my notes, you have 4 guys that normally you would never pick in this category, but together, maybe so. Start us off.
Well, this one is tough, and it's different for us as well. It's different to play in it, and it's different for us to kind of stare at the field and make some picks. But I got to look. I'm starting off with Davis Thompson and Andrew Novak. I like the number at plus 4,500. Davis has been playing better. It's not fantastic, but he's got 2 top 25s in his last 3 events. Is that trending? Not necessarily, but he does have some really it's not trending, and he does have some nice low rounds this season. And Andrew Novak, he's cooled off a touch too, but he was burning in the middle this season. He hits it great. He keeps it in play, and he was shooting tons of 65s and 66s just a month ago. So I kind of like those guys vibing together. And then I'm going with the hot hand too. Big Sepp Straka coming off a T5 last week, playing well, and Bryce Garnett, who won in Puerto Rico. These guys are both Valdosta, Georgia guys. They've known each other for a long time. And I just think they could go out there and gel and get something started off. So, yeah, plus 3,500 on those two. I'd say it's a pretty fair bet.
I would say so, too. For those of you looking at your DraftKings or BetMGM, that's where we get most of our plays from. The numbers are going to be a little bit skewed this week because it's team. There's not as many. Normally around 150. This is about half of that this particular week. Now, Eddie, I come over to you. Good news, bad news for Billy Horschel. The bad news is he was bitter as he was leading up to this event because his good buddy, Sam Burns, decided to have a baby instead of playing this event. But then he goes out last week, final round 63, raises the trophy on the opposite field event. So he comes in flying high. Explain yourself.
Absolutely. That's huge. Shot 129 on the weekend.
Woo.
66, 63. So he's been trending up though the last month. He's finished 12th, 7th, and 3rd. And a win out of the last 3 out of the 4 events. Tyson's made 3 cuts. He's not playing great, tied for 14th at Valero. But, when you're playing with, and I know RD can talk to this, when you're playing with someone, especially a friend of yours that's playing well, it kind of feeds into your play as well. It just kind of, it's almost like those good vibes kind of get that energy kind of comes in you and you start hitting better shots. Just like when you play with somebody better, it kind of raises your game a little bit. So that's, I look for them to come out of the blocks pretty hot. So that's why I picked Horschel and Tyson. They're both University of Florida guys, and they've been friends a long time. So that's why I picked these guys. I think they're one of the hottest groups on the golf course.
Thank God Steve Scott's not here in person today for you to pick 2 Florida guys.
He'd be loving that.
Right?
Florida Gators, blah, blah. Yeah.
By the way, RD, do you know how offensive it is when Fast Eddie does that low-key shot to my heart? He goes, RD, you can understand that when you're playing with somebody that plays. What about me? I don't have any friends that help me play better. Right. It hurts. Hey, it hurts.
You're the only one. You're the only one out of all of us that's made a hole-in-one this year. Your son's made a hole-in-one. I haven't made a hole-in-one. RD hasn't. Neither has Steve. So you got that on us, all right?
Hashtag facts. You're damn right. I'm the only one on this show. It burns Steve too. And when my son got his 2-3 weeks ago,
that was so awesome.
Oh my goodness. Steve says, "Hey coach, there's a whole one this year." Yeah, I remind him every time I text him. He's starting to not text me back anymore. All right, gentlemen, our bread and butter here at DTL Golf. Head-to-head matchups. This is very, very interesting this week because the format changes 2 days one way, 2 days the other. And some teams really don't feed into the alternate shot. So, Eddie, I'm going to start with you on this one because you just have one. And I tell you what, for people who don't know the Højgaard brothers, please explain just how dynamic they are.
They are super, super, super talented. I really feel like I've seen both of them play. I really feel like they are going to be the future of the Ryder Cup, kind of like Oberg, and it's incredible. So I got brothers versus brothers. The only reason Rasmus is not on the PGA Tour is because Matthew Pavone went sick the last 6 holes. He birdied like 5 out of the last 6 to nip Rasmus out of his PGA Tour to be fully exempt on the PGA Tour at the DP World Tour Championship. So Nikolai's, they're both playing okay, tied 16th at the Masters, but they are super, super, super talented brothers. And look, they've played as much together as anyone in the entire field. Matt and Alex, obviously, as well. But that's kind of like my theme this week, brothers. I think it's super cool that you can have your brother and play with your brother, even if they're not a member of the PGA Tour. So I think it's really, I really like that aspect of it. You kind of choose whoever you want. So like RD was saying, I want to get an exemption of playing that next year. So.
Yeah. Brooks Koepka was kind of the first guy to kind of make this a thing when he brought his brother who couldn't get on tour a few years ago. By the way, Nikolai, and I wonder, because can you imagine guys going to a different country, living there for 3 full months, playing top shelf golf for the first time in your life? He's coming to the end of that 3 months. The first week was a farmer's insurance. You remember back in late January. So I wonder if that's starting playing, because he cost himself, to your point, that 16th at the Masters doesn't really tell the story. He was at the top of the leaderboard, and that last whatever many holes cost him millions, literally millions of dollars. But this guy's brother, so he might feel like home this week. Sure. RD, you found 3 you absolutely love. Explain yourself.
I do absolutely love these, and I've got good reasoning for all of them. First off, Colin Morikawa, Kirk Kitayama over Sahith Theegala, and Bill Zalatoris. I'll get a little more into this with the Morikawa and Kitayama because I've got them picked a little later in some other picks as well. But really, the trick to a lot of this is keeping the ball in play. Having 2 balls in play at all times on the better ball format is really important. And Kitayama hits it very well. Morikawa, you know how he hits it. Kitayama started off slow, but he's made over 100,000. He's made $100,000 plus checks in 3 of his last 4 events. So he's playing well. And Zalatoris. Now, we know about his putting, and we know how it can get a little dicey. And sometimes it looks okay. But when you're not just putting for yourself and you're putting for someone else, that gets nerve-wracking. So I'm concerned how that putter is going to work. So at slight underdogs plus 105, I love Morikawa Kitayama. I am loving McIlroy Lowry over Cantlay and Xander. Nothing against Cantlay and Xander. They're the favorites to win the tournament, rightfully so. But look at the odds, plus 140. Also, you've got Augusta behind Rory. This is going to be fun. This is going to be free-flowing. You might catch Rory on an absolute heater, and he might have a nice Guinness in his bag or something like that, because this is just goofing off, and this is playing with his buddies, and he could get super, super hot out there. And then also Tom Hoge, Maverick McNeely. Hoge, Maverick's only missed 1 cut this year coming off that injury. He's playing great golf. Tom Hoge is hitting the ball so well. He's 2nd strokes gained, approach. And Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith. One thing you got to think about here, Coach, it's not just who's playing well, but who's going to maybe bring down the other player. Taylor Pendrith has missed 5 of his last 7 cuts. Maybe he plays well, but that's going to happen to a lot of teams. You're going to have one guy that plays well and another guy that just stalls out and can't get it done. And Pendrith has just not been playing well enough. So Hoge and Maverick. in that.
And
bet.
it can affect you on either day. Alternate shot. If a guy's not playing well,
Sure.
then his shot's going to go all over the place. But then when it's basically the better ball, you put a lot of pressure on your partner to always score.
You need 2 balls in play in that format all times. That's who's going to win. You know, you get 2 looks at birdie every hole. You're going to do all right. But if one guy's in the woods, tough.
100%. Now, you just did something that I absolutely love, and you didn't even realize you were doing it. There's nothing I like more, as many of you know, than sticking it to Big Cheesy. And Big Cheesy hates the fact that Rory is my second favorite player of all time. And if you notice in the chat, because producer man, who does an amazing job always, used a small I instead of a big I. And he says, oh, you spelled the name wrong. Oh, I'm so tired of Rory. Oh, poor Shane Lowry. Here's what's going to happen, Big Cheesy, is that when Rory has the freedom to just go flag hunting every single hole, he can shoot 62, 61, because he has another player. And that's how good his iron game can be. So thank you, RD. Thank you for driving him nuts with that Rory pick today. I appreciate it. Me and you may have a little bet coming up a little bit later in the show, but I'll get back to that in a second. Now, category number 3, finishing positions. This is where we dial it back just a little bit. It can be a little bit more difficult. Top 10 could turn into a top 20 in a heartbeat. So, Fast Eddie, let me come over to you because you have 2 top 10s that, and almost you have to play a top 10 this week because of the limited number of teams. Why do you like these 2?
So Kim and Gim, plus I thought plus 300 was top 10 was really good for them. They're 2 really solid players. Tom Kim, what he did at the President's Cup about a year and a half ago was really impressive. I mean, and he's still only 22 years old, probably. And it's just kind of how he handled himself, and he got all fired up, and those are the guys you want. I think he's going to play really well this week, and I think Doug Gim has been really good, or he hasn't been very good at all. So it's almost like that streaky thing. He's almost on his way back up now after he had great 4 or 5 week stretch there, ending with the Players, and then hadn't played that well the last 3 or 4 weeks, and then now hopefully he can get up and playing with his buddy Tom Kim. I think it's going to be a good one. Kind of finish in the middle of the road. So Kim finished 7th last year with Seongyong Kim. So I hope I pronounced that correctly. But Horschel in it, Alexander, plus 33, top 10. I absolutely love this pick, as I was saying before. Just the solid play is going to continue. I think Billy Horschel was pretty upset, especially when he lost it at the Waste Management. And again, when you're playing with someone that's playing well, it really raises your game. 330 plus 333 was a steal for this pick. I thought it should have been closer to probably plus 180 to plus 240. So that's I love that pick.
Sometimes when I hear you start to talk golf betting 3 months in, I almost have a tear coming down my face, Eddie, at how far you've come in a very short period of time. They're asking in the chat, does Steve Scott have any picks? Steve, you can hear me. If you have any picks you like, go ahead and throw them in the chat for the good people. Jeff, in particular, is asking. All right, RD, you've taken it a step up on Fast Eddie this week. You're going top 5, and you picked 3, which means you're really confident that 3 of the top 5 teams are going to be these. Talk to me.
I think more than any other tournament, you can write off a lot of teams. So I like these bets this week. You could take half the field or more and just throw them aside. So when you're looking at good value this week, those top 5s, top 10 bets are really going to pay off this week. I picked 2 sets of brothers, 1 set of twins, actually, Rasmus and Nikolai, because I had a brother that was a heck of a player. We played a lot of team events, not on this level, but we always played our butts off for each other, really and truly. And you've got 2 brothers here in Alex Fitzpatrick and Rasmus Højgaard, both at plus 450, who aren't fully exempt on the PGA Tour. So with the brothers, other brothers love to get up there and play really well and get their brothers on their way to getting exempt on the PGA Tour. You're damn right they would. And then Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin. Nick Taylor owes Adam Hadwin for taking that tackle on the 18th green at the Canadian Open last year. Nick Taylor, one of the great putters, and you got two guys. Nick Taylor's a shoe-in for the President's Cup, but Adam Hadwin is not. He would love to see his buddy there. So at plus 500, another top five, wouldn't shock me at all to see them not just top five it, but be right there at the end of the whole thing for the win.
I think you both make really good points on how important the President's Cup could play into this week's event. There's probably 6 or 8 Canadians that would like to be on the team in Montreal, but there's a lot of other countries that have a lot of good players, so you're not going to be able to take 6 or 8 if you're Mike Weir. So it's going to be probably 4 or 5. By the way, if you're new to golf, if you haven't seen the finish that RD is talking about last year, Canadian Open, best finish of the year by far. Yeah. And then Adam Hadwin got taken down by a linebacker dressed as a security guard. Can't figure out how he didn't break ribs on the 18th green. Best scene all year, not close. All right, gentlemen, next category. And this RD, you and I have never bet against each other before, but this might be the first time. And our normal bet is $100 here at DTL Standard, and we actually have to do Venmo, even though I know you hate Venmo.
Well, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to let Eddie go first on this one so you and I can do our little tete-a-tete. But Eddie Fernandes.
All right.
Oh, very interesting that one of your picks is also one of my picks for the week. Go ahead, sir.
I love Hadwin and Taylor. They finished second last year. To your point, Coach and Robert, 2 Canadians. I really think they're going to play great this week. Hadwin is not on the President's Cup as of right now. I think, like you said, Taylor is a shoo-in. Hadwin, a couple top fives in the last 2 months. Taylor has a win in Phoenix. Great friends that feed off each other. Look, President's Cup is really important to these guys. It's in Canada, and they would love nothing more than to hoist the trophy and show Coach Mike Weir or Captain Mike Weir that he is ready to play. And I think that'd be a really good twosome in Canada. So I just love them to play solid this week. Again, finished second last year. And, Zalatoris and Tagala plus 800, not great odds, but they are 2 absolute studs, as we all know, playing at a super high level. Tagala finished second last week at RBC. Zalatoris 9th at the Masters, 4th API, 2nd at the Genesis. It's a little risky, plus 800, but maybe sprinkle a little love on these 2 guys this week.
I hear you. A couple of things. It's pretty clear in the golfing world, I, the coach, move lines because at 10 a.m. Eastern this morning, I gave out Will Zalatoris, Sahith Theegala from DraftKings at plus 1,000 immediately. After I gave it out, it went down to plus 800. It now has gone down to plus 750. You're welcome, America, or I'm sorry, America. Bet it when I give it out. TSB World, newest premium member, welcome to the team. Now, Eddie, here at DTL, when we make mistakes, we correct them in real time, and we move on, and we never shame anybody.
Right.
You made a mistake, sir.
I did.
Producer man, can I go back to the previous finishing position? There you go. So it's not necessarily your fault.
Okay.
But Doug Kim is not playing with Tom Kim this week.
Oh, he's not.
He's playing with Chan Kim this week.
Oh, geez. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I don't think anybody knew it except Steve Scott in the
My bad.
That's okay. You had the number correct. But just so everybody knows, it's Chan Kim, not Tom Kim. Believe
me. Righty then. Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome. That's actually really good, Jim Carrey. That's
really good bet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Steve said, sorry, just want to set the record straight. No, Steve, that's what we're supposed to do. We don't want to give out incorrect stuff, even though it's very, very innocent. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody. Especially RD when he's picking the wrong winner of the week. So let's go back to the winners page. RD, I'll let you explain yourself here, and then I'll tell you what I would like to propose.
Okay. Morikawa Kitayama. Again, in the best ball category, you want 2 balls in play. Kitayama's 25th off the tee, 33rd approach. That's, I don't need to read you Morikawa's stats. You know how good he is keeping the ball in play. And so at plus 1,200, I'm liking them. I'm digging them. I think to win the whole thing, Tom Hoge and McNeely, I am loving this because they are more than twice the odds of Kitayama and Morikawa. Hoagie's playing unbelievable golf, 6 top 10s in his last 8 tournaments, or top 20s, pardon me. Tom Hoge is also second in approach this year. Maverick McNeely has only missed 1 cut this year. He has been steady Eddie, and at plus 25 to 1, plus 2,500, loving it. And we talked about it already. Nick Taylor, Adam Hadwin, they've got the Nick Taylor, who plays great, who makes putts left and right, especially clutch ones, and Adam Hadwin, who is trying desperately to get onto that President's Cup team. A couple of great putters, a couple of friends that could get hot, plus 2,800. What do you got for me, Coach?
Well, I was thinking maybe since Colin Morikawa and Kurt Kitayama are around the same numbers as Will Zalatoris and Sahith Theegala, I love Zalatoris and Theegala. So I thought, you're a gambling man. What if we do, you take Morikawa and Kitayama, I take Zalatoris and Theegala, whoever, it doesn't have to be a win, but whoever finishes higher wins $100, cold hard cash from the other person. Are you in or are you out?
Am I allowed to? I'm in, Coach. You kidding me? Always. Head-to-head with you.
Very first bet. It won't be the last. We did this in previous years. People absolutely love it. We're going to start it this week. So me and RD, that's the bet. He's got more Colin. I'm actually a little scared because I like that team too a lot, but not as much as my guys. All right, that's going to be our head up. That's going to be our head up. By the way, our newest premium member already getting in the chat, TSB World, welcome to the show. He goes, any bets for the live tourney? A, no. B, no. Big GC says, is that the tournament on the CW network at 3 a.m.? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
I believe 0.01 share. Yes.
Tape delay, or they'll cut it off like on the 12th hole on Sunday for a rerun of the Golden Girls, but I digress. All right, we have one more. We have one more category, and we're thinking about changing it from long shots to Fast Eddie's happy place. We haven't decided that yet because he has picked a minimum of 2. So there are 2 brothers that played at the University of Texas. They have benefited from being part of the PGA University standings. That's allowed a lot of players to come straight out of college and either be on the Korn Ferry Tour or the PGA Tour. You have kind of given some numbers that you like for this duo of brothers. Explain yourself.
Sir. I love this. I was going to pick a few other – I was looking at a few other ones, and I just – for whatever reason, these kids kind of just stuck out like a sore thumb. Obviously, brothers – 20 plus 20,000 on DraftKings. BetMGM was plus 10,000. Okay. So it was wild. So if you guys want to throw a little love on these 2 guys on DraftKings, if it's still plus 20,000, I just looked at it a couple hours ago and it was still that, now on BetMGM, it didn't have any top 10s or 5s or 20s on DraftKings, but BetMGM was plus 1,400. Top 5, top 10 was plus 600, and top 20 plus 250. Nobody outside of maybe the Fitzpatrick brothers or the Højgaard twins have probably played more. These kids grew up playing every day together, and I just think they're so good. University of Texas, obviously. I love them this week. There's something about it that just kind of sticks out to me, and I just love them. Pearson, they both finished 6th and 18th last week in Puerto Rico or Dominican. Where was it? Yeah.
So but it was on an island. It was on an island somewhere.
Tropical.
Yeah. I love this pick. So I'm gonna throw sprinkle a little salt on this one. Definitely. I just love this pick.
All right. I like it too. Last year, it was Pearson that came out right out of the gates and did well. Parker's the one that hasn't done as much. I think I get them mixed up a lot of the time. I'm looking on DraftKings to see, and yeah, it's definitely you're moving lines. It's definitely dropping all over the place. You definitely want to shop around. I tell you all the time, open up accounts. If you're in a state that has legalized gambling, open up accounts at all 4. Just sprinkle a little bit because the numbers are, especially in golf, are very different a lot of the times for different players. Doesn't always make sense. All right, RD, long shots, and rarely do you see a team that's former champions at an event with this kind of number. So you never know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But first off, I mean, to your point, Fast Eddie, I also took the Cootie brothers. I mean, I have to take the brother connection and look at what I had it at plus 10,000. You got to shop around. I mean, I know that the odds can vary across. I've never seen that much variance. So if you're messing up big time if you're not shopping around a little bit and looking at these odds. And right there, the proof is in the pudding. Regardless, I think these guys are great long shots. Matt Wallace and Thorbjorn Olesen, both proven winners on DP World Tour, both good friends. I watched Thorbjorn play at San Antonio, and he played phenomenal golf, just a gorgeous golf swing. Now, what you were mentioning, Kevin Kisner, Scott Brown, they've both been playing terrible. Let's face it. But at plus 40,000, two proven winners, past winners, you play the lottery, don't you? You'll bet $1 to win $400, won't you? I mean, I'm not telling you to bet big on this, but that's legit good odds. $1, $2 to win $800. Hey, like I said, you buy a Powerball ticket every once in a while. You're not going to win, but by gosh, you're trying because that's good odds. Same thing with Kisner and Brown.
And in 2024, if you think that long shots can't win just because they're not playing well, go back and look at all the winners of all the tournaments so far this year. There's more long shots than Scotty Scheffler's winning. Not the last 5 weeks, but leading up to that, it was a lot of long shots. Then it was a lot of plus 400s. Crazy. I wonder if Scotty keeps doing this, how low the number could actually go. I don't think you go lower than plus 200. No. I mean, I couldn't see that. But
unless he starts, I mean, if he goes,
he goes 7-8 in a row. Nelly Korda, shout out to Nelly Korda, 5 in a row.
How amazing is golf right now? PGA Tour, LPGA Tour. I mean, Nelly is and Fuego winning 4 events and then a major.
Crazy. She withdrew this week. She said she was exhausted. Well, no,
you think?
Oh my God! You're allowed. Right. You're allowed to withdraw. Now the tournament may not be happy because she's a big draw, but hey, she delivers.
Can't play every week.
Playing bad golf is exhausting. Playing like that is fun as hell. Sucking is exhausting.
Yeah, he's like, holding up 5 trophies and a big check in a row. No, that's not
where do I sign up?
Yeah, no kidding. All right, final thoughts, gentlemen, as we head into the first and only tag team event of 2024. We're post the first major. We've got a few weeks until the second. RD, where are we at right now? Your take.
Well, I just love this event. Like I said, something different. Personally, Eric Cole, last year's Rookie of the Year, has picked Russ Cochran, one of my heroes, one of my idols, one of my longest friends, because his caddy is Russ Cochran's son. It'll be Russ Cochran's 600th PGA Tour start. We didn't mention him in betting, of course, but, that is fantastic. Good for you, Eric Cole, and great for you on a great career, Russ Cochran, number 600 coming up.
Both of those guys played in the Golfer Cops event that we go to in December last year. So it's not out of the realm of possibility if we start a campaign, Fast Eddie, right here and right now, that 12 months from now, we can have somebody pick up the phone and call you, and let's get you in there. Until that happens, your final thought.
Fun, man. That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Oh
man,
God.
I would love to. I would love to let it rip out there.
We're gonna start.
Imagine RD little alternate shot, and I'm just sending the driver about 380.
I would love it, but you got to hit from back where I am too sometime.
That's true, but that's all right. It doesn't matter.
No, we'll
look. I love the brothers this week. I picked a few brothers. It's just such a fun event. I played, and the cool thing about a team event, I played 27 holes, 9-hole alternate shot, 9-hole best ball, and I think 9-hole scramble over here in Orlando every January. And I played with Ken Duke a few years ago. I played with Brian Davis last year, and both of my partners were like, "There's no apologies. You go out, you play your best. Let's have some fun." And I think that's the coolest part about it, because most everyone is either brothers or really good friends. They played a lot of golf together. And look, it is a fun week, and obviously they all want to win. But I think if you just have that mentality, that mindset of, hey, no apologies. You hit a bad shot. Let's go find it and hit it again. I think that'll relax a lot of guys.
You're damn right. There's nothing better than playing fun, relaxing golf and potentially a big check. How the rules, they split the FedEx Cup points up, so it's like $400 to each person. Also, I will be on the call this week. Wheels Up Wednesday, depending on when you're watching this. I'll be on the Zurich Classic stream number 2, featured groups. So if you want to turn on ESPN Plus, I would certainly appreciate that as well. In the meantime, that's all the damage we can do. Producer man, I need my one shot. Understand it's time for you to go out into the world. Pay it forward. Use that golf etiquette to your advantage. And understand, I got the best crew in the game. I got the best golf minds in the game. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You got your marching orders. Let's take all of these golf tickets, except for Morikawa and Kitayama, straight to the pay window. My man Steve Scott in the chat, always grinding, even when he can't be on the show live. My man Fast Eddie Fernandes, let's get him in next year. And RD, in 5 days, will be $100 lighter. But we love them all. Never forget about producer man behind the scenes, always making the show look like $1 million. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. Is truly what we're all about. Under the umbrella, even right here on DTL Golf. Good luck.